Hello everyone, welcome back to the Makeshift Pod. This week, Dan covers a pretty dark topic. We cover a lot of killers and it gets pretty graphic, so this is a quick trigger warning before you watch or listen to the pod. You can skip forward to the next section if you wish. But yeah, enjoy the show, guys. Thanks.
Welcome back to the Makeshift Podcast, Season 2, Episode number 3. Today, we're going to be talking about topics beginning with K, because it's the third podcast and it's the third letter in Makeshift, so the third letter is K.
The letter K. So I'm actually going to be talking about KFC.
I'm going to be talking about kebab.
And Laura's going to talk about Krispy Kreme.
Yeah, Laura's here again. She's not going to be a guest today, unless she wants to get involved in Scott's topic, which is...
The Kardashians.
Yes.
Oh, very exciting.
Yeah, my topic is killers.
So very similar topics.
Yeah.
You know.
You could say.
The famous Kim Kardashian killer.
Oh, the guy that mugged her.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I guess.
Mate, your boy.
What did we talk about last week? I spoke about the man who survived at sea for 438 days.
He is a trooper.
And you spoke about social media.
Yeah. It was a messy podcast. Like, that was so up and down. There was so much editing to do.
Yeah.
It took a long time to edit, man.
Yeah.
It was good, though. It was a good podcast, but like recording it was just all over the place. Because I didn't speak about half the stuff I wanted to. But it's fine. Doesn't matter. We had a good...
it was enjoyable.
A good conversation and debate.
Yes.
But today, we're going to be starting off with killers. We're going to be talking about some of the most notorious serial killers in history.
Oh my God.
Not Ted Bundy, because Ted Bundy. You don't need to know any more about Ted Bundy.
Hashtag Bundy.
Hashtag Bun Bundy.
All right.
Right. Yeah. There's nothing else you need to know. There is a little bit at the end where we talk about creepy fans of serial killers.
Okay,
and
interesting.
There is a little bit there about Ted Bundy, but I'm not going to be talking about what he did because there's so much information out there, and it's just like it's so overwashed and. I can't be asked. Every time I hear Ted Bundy, I'm like, I can't be bothered to listen to it.
I've heard it a million times, mate. I'm bored of it.
Exactly.
So let's grab our magnifying glasses.
I thought grab
our dark fruits.
Let's get right into it.
And let's stab our way into it.
All right. This is it's a big start. Actually, is it a big start? I don't know. I'm not too sure. But we're going to be talking about a guy who has got a very weird role model in his life, or had a weird role model in his life. I am a very big fan of the TV series Dexter.
Okay.
Right. Do you know a lot about Dexter? Do you know what it's about?
So I know it's about a serial killer.
Yes.
And he's not your stereotypical serial killer who's like an evil son of a gun. He like kills criminals, right?
Correct, yeah.
He's like a vigilante serial killer.
Correct.
Okay.
But he's still a serial killer.
It's not right.
But the
I'm not
problem
saying he's a good guy.
The problem is you like him, right?
Well, it's quite polarizing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sort of like the character out of You.
Well, I haven't seen You.
If you, he's I guess he's like an anti-hero.
Doesn't matter what he is. Okay. All he is a serial killer.
Not saying Joe out of You is an anti-hero, by the way.
I don't even know what that means. That's why I'm skipping over it, because I have a lot to
go
through.
Okay.
Yeah, You's...
Well, how about
no one cares about You?
Get on with it and tell me about it.
Why don't you shut up?
You.
It's going to be our first argument on the podcast. Well, our second argument. So
press this link.
Don't press that link. No, there is a guy called Pedro Rodriguez
Coffee in my story.
Filho. Shut up. Let me speak. All right, we're going to go through any of this if you keep interrupting me. Normally it's me interrupting you.
Get on with it.
Right. This guy's taken a lot of inspiration from Dexter, right? And people are calling him the real life Dexter Morgan.
So he took inspiration from Dexter.
I'm not sure if he took inspiration, but it's just a...
what I'm asking, it happened after Dexter came out.
Yeah,
it's like a copycat thing, it's not... Dexter wasn't like the show's based around this.
Well, if you listen, it's happened before, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's not directly linked to Dexter. The reason there's a link is... You'll hear it. So let's get into it.
I'm intrigued.
Pedro Rodriguez Filho is a Brazilian serial killer, also known as Pedrinho Matador or whatever, or Killer PT.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not English, not interested.
Well, his name isn't important. What he did is important.
Just say Pedro.
Pedro butchered a confirmed 71 people.
Jeez, that's
while
a lot.
He claims his victim list is around 100. The 63-year-old was born with an injured skull because his dad savagely beat his mum whilst he was in the womb.
Oh.
He nearly killed his cousin when he was just 13 years old, and that was when he first felt the urge to murder. It wasn't until a year later, so only 14, when he fully acted on these impulses. Again, a lot like Dexter has.
He was a murderer at 14.
Well, he murdered Minaz Garay, the vice mayor of Alfinas, because he fired his dad on unsubstantiated claims he was stealing food from the school kitchen. So basically, this guy's dad just got fired because he was stealing, but wasn't actually stealing, right?
Oh, God.
So this guy, the kid, 14 years old, killed the person who he believes actually did steal the food. So he killed the criminal that his dad took the blame for at 14 years old.
Can you imagine yourself at 14, like your dad gets made redundant and you're like, right,
I'm going to kill this motherfucker. Fuck you.
I'm not having this. So I'm going to march up there.
It's crazy.
And you're not going to have a strong word with him. You're going to kill him.
You're going to kill him. It doesn't say how he died.
Murder him.
It doesn't say how he died. But I imagine it's a horrible death.
How's he not locked
How
up?
does a 14-year-old kill somebody cleanly, right? This guy would have fucking... we have a family listeners now. My mum watched the whole thing.
Oh, right.
So
We've got to censor ourselves.
Well, you don't swear. It's just me.
Friggin' heck, man.
Friggin' heck. Flapping.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, anyway. So after his... Right, let me just fire through this because this is really boring compared to what we've got coming up.
Crikey.
All right? So after his massive... Oh, no, sorry. Well, skipped a lot there. He moved towns after this, murdered a drug dealer, and fell in love with a woman named Maria Aparecida Olimpia. It was here in Morgi das Cruzes, Sao Paulo, where he racked up a huge body count in the name of revenge. So his motive is revenge, okay?
Okay, interesting.
When Olympia was killed by gang members, so when his girlfriend was killed by gang members, Killer Pedro, went on a rampage, torturing and killing people to find out who specifically killed his lover. So he's doing it out the good of his own heart, out of heartbreak. He's killing people, right? Which is the link to Dexter everyone's making.
Okay?
Okay. But his most savage murder arguably happened when he came face to face with his dad.
Uh-oh.
And this is not linked to Dexter because his dad's dead, and it's not a spoiler.
Okay.
He reportedly executed his dad in a prison as he was serving time for killing his mum with a machete. So imagine...
Killed his mum.
Imagine your dad killing your mum with a machete.
Oh, his dad killed his mum.
His dad killed his mum with a machete.
Right. I can see why Pedro is the way he is.
He's not had a great start to life. But, it is what it is.
Imagine having a fractured skull before you're even born.
This is the thing. So the dad's obviously... Because the dad obviously injured this guy in the womb.
Yeah.
So he's already fucked up because of his dad. And the dad's killed his mum with a machete.
It's a vicious cycle, isn't it?
So Pedro, cut out his dad's heart, ate a piece of it, and then threw it away.
Oh, right. He didn't finish it.
No, just took a bite. Just took a heart.
God.
A heart. How do you even take a bite of a heart?
So, killing the dad isn't enough. You got to cut his heart out.
You got his heart cut.
Take it. Have a little nibble.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's mad. Which is ironic because he probably didn't even have a heart in the first place.
Oh,
look at that.
How do you eat the heart of a heartless person?
Exactly.
Dan asks. Well,
this is all fabricated.
Pedro proved you can.
But after his massive killing spree, he was eventually arrested in 1973 and sent to prison. But the killings kept happening.
Oh, no.
Pedro butchered 4 people whilst he was locked up, meaning his sentence was eventually extended. In 2003, a court sentenced him to 128 years. However, this is crazy. Brazilian law prevents any criminal in the world in a Brazilian prison will not serve any more than 30 years.
Oh.
So if you killed one person
you can
badly...
do anything, and the maximum amount of time you get is 30 years.
30 years. You could kill 1,000 people and still have the same sentence as someone who killed...
And that's in Brazil?
In Brazil, yeah. So he was released in 2007. This guy is released...
Is he on the streets now?
Well, there's no telling what was going on in the mind of Pedro as he murdered all those people. Where are you going, Laura? That's... Okay. Okay, yeah, cool. All right, thanks. There was no telling of what's going on in the mind, blah, blah, blah. He might have thought he was only killing bad people and that it would be justified. So again, the link to Dexter there.
Okay.
Why it's all being linked back to Dexter.
yeah.
But we all know that argument doesn't stack up. Information from the Brazilian National Security Force Intel indicates that he went to Brazilian Northeast on September 15th, 2011. So you've just been let out on, you've killed your own dad, you've eaten his heart, you've killed the vice mayor of wherever he was from, you've killed about 100 people. And the local media from Santa Catarina published that Pedro had been arrested at his home in the rural area where he worked as a housekeeper. And according to the news channel, he was served time for accusations such as riot and false imprisonment. I don't know what is the riot, right? You just killed people and you're getting put away again for riot. You've got a second chance at life and now you're rioting. This guy's a fucking flipping piece of shit, man.
Pedro, mate. What are you showing at?
And besides the number of killings, Pedro became notorious in Brazil for promising the murder of other criminals, such as Francisco de Assis Pereira, aka the Park Maniac, another serial killer. So he's like a good serial killer. He didn't kill any innocent people.
Really?
Good lad.
I mean, yeah.
No, obviously not really. I'm only joking.
Good. Define good.
Okay, so another close to home serial killer is someone notorious in the UK for being a serial killer. Don't know if you might have heard of him. A guy called Dennis Nilsson.
Never heard of him. No.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about Dennis. Okay, He died in jail, so just getting out there. He's dead.
He's not a danger to anyone anymore.
No, he was aged 72 and was one of the most notorious serial killers in Britain.
Dennis.
He was thought to have killed up to 15 young men in North London between 1978 and 1983. So in just 5 years, he killed 15 young men. And were mostly homeless homosexuals. The victims killed between blah, blah, blah. These don't really matter. Oh, yeah, the final 3 victims were killed in 1982 and 83 at his home.
And that's a little while ago.
Yeah, and the flesh and small bones were flushed down the toilet. Yeah, these are just some of the key points. So usually meet the victims in pubs and bars and lured them to their deaths.
So he's like a Tinder serial killer before.
He's
back in the day. Nice.
The ultimate catfish. Some would say.
Nice.
And then strangling them and sometimes drowning them. So he washed and dressed the bodies, sat with them for days or weeks before dismembering them, and carried out sexual acts with the corpses. After removing the internal organs that were dumped nearby, he got rid of the remains. He was caught by accident when a drain outside his home became blocked by the remains that he tried to flush away. Imagine that. So these are just some of the victims and the way that he killed them. So Stephen Dean Holmes, aged 14.
Oh my God.
29th of December, this happened just after Christmas. Little 14-year-old boy probably just got his bike. So Nilsson met a teenager in a pub and invited him home. At the property, he was worried that the teenager would try to leave, and so he got a tie and tightened it round his neck. Stephen was unconscious, but not dead, so Nilsson drowned him in a bucket of water. He kept the corpse under floorboards for nearly 8 months and then burned the remains on a bonfire. How are you going to keep a body for 8 months just to burn it on a bonfire? It's like he enjoyed them being under there.
I mean, how are you going to kill a kid?
14-year-old man. It's sick. Another Kenneth Ockenden, aged 23. He was murdered on the 3rd of December, and they both drank together in a pub and ended up at Nilsson's flat. He strangled him with an electrical cord from headphones as Mr. Ockenden listened to music and kept his body under the floorboards. So imagine, like, you just met this guy in a pub. You're both like gay, so you're going to get some, right? You're going to go back to this guy's pub. You're going to fucking get on. Yeah. He says, listen to this music.
Welcome to clean content.
I mean, it's not. Did I just swear? What did I say?
You don't even know what you're saying.
No, I don't.
But you'll see when you watch it back.
No, I hate watching myself back when I'm like this. No, but basically, imagine going back from the pub to this guy's house you're thinking of getting it on with.
Yeah.
And you're just listening to music at his bit with headphones, and then all of a sudden you just got that same chord, just like wrapped round and killed. It's crazy. 16-year-old was also murdered, and he strangled this homeless man who was 16 in his bed. He was still alive, so Nielsen took him to the kitchen and drowned him in a sink full of water. The body was placed in a cupboard for 2 days before being put under floorboards. Another guy, unidentified, was described as an 18-year-old blue-eyed Scot who wore a green tracksuit top and trainers, and they had met in a pub in Soho. Nielsen dissected his body. 23-year-old, on the 17th of September, Nielsen found Barlow, who had mental problems, loitering around his home and invited him in where they drank together. Nielsen then strangled him, stowed his body under the kitchen sink, as he had no room under the floorboards.
Oh, right.
So, as you do, run out of room. Where'd you put it?
Yeah, kitchen sink.
Kitchen sink, mate.
Why wouldn't you?
And another 27-year-old was strangled with a ligature. Don't know what that is. As he sat eating an omelette Nielsen had cooked for him. So this guy's cooking you an omelette. You're like, I'm about to get this omelette down me. I'm about to get it on me. About to.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
you got your morning after omelette on the way.
And then
And then you get murdered.
But not just doesn't end there.
It's a tragedy.
His body was kept in a bath for 3 days before
In
Nielsen.
a
A bath for 3 days before Nielsen dissected his body on the kitchen floor.
Lovely.
So that was Dennis Nielsen.
Dennis the Menace.
And imagine doing all that and getting caught because you tried to flush the remains away and they got blocked in the sink. You take them away somewhere, flush them in another person's
It's like
drains.
getting caught on a stop and search, isn't it?
Yeah, it's silly. Like the fact that he managed to pull all that off and then gets caught for something so easy.
I nearly did my topic today was nearly something called the Curing case. And basically this town in Czechoslovakia, it was at the time, a new father had just got his baby monitor, right?
Yeah.
And it was video feed. It had like CCTV.
Yeah.
So he set up his baby monitor and then he sees on the feed these 2 naked young boys in a basement covered in dirt, chained up.
But what do you mean he set up a baby monitor?
So he sets up the baby monitor for his newborn baby.
Yeah.
And it's like a CCTV one though. It's not just a sound one.
Yeah.
Then he sees on the screen.
Wait, so he's put his baby in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And in the bedroom are 2 naked men.
No, wait. Let me finish.
You don't.
So he sees on the screen.
Yeah.
These 2 naked boys in a basement, covered in dirt.
Not his basement.
Chained up.
Another feed. I'm confused.
And he's like, well, what the F is this?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He thinks it must be a glitch or something.
Yeah.
And then he sees 2 women he recognises throwing food on the floor and then making them eat it like dogs. And it turns out it was his neighbour's basement that the feed connected to.
Yo.
What time is that?
God, imagine that. Shit, man.
I'm talking about the Kardashians.
Yeah. Oh, fuck me. That's crazy. Where was that?
That was in like Czechoslovakia.
Oh, yeah, you said. Yeah, that's fucked up.
Or it might have even been Czech Republic.
I don't think we can do this podcast without swearing because this
we have to be ourselves.
Yeah, this is fucked up. And if you don't like the F word, then I'm sorry, Mum. Right? But you're the only person I'm worried about swearing in front of. I'm sorry. These are
She's just
not
trying
very
to
nice.
help us get monetized. That's all.
This is a little quick one. I've just little bits about murder.
Serial killer here, serial killer there.
Have you ever heard of the Glasgow Smile?
No.
So,
but I reckon it's like the Joker.
Yeah. So the origin of this, you know how like the Joker has them, and it's like
why
loads
so
of like
serious
horror masks. It's just very scary to have the
it's
cuts.
not nice,
Oh,
is it?
Oh man, I got spots.
I think I thought you were going to say to have
one. Well, it originated from a case called Black Dahlia, and it was
I've heard of. I think
one of Hollywood's most infamous murder cases. This unfolded on January 15th in 1947 when the raven-haired 22-year-old wannabe actress Elizabeth Short was found dead on Northern Avenue between 39th and Coliseum Streets in LA.
Right.
So just found on the streets in LA. The body, however, had been cut in half, like clean in half. The bitch is in like 2 piles, okay, and had been drained of blood. Drained of blood, which is again something from season 1 of Dexter. It seems like Dexter's quite accurate. I reckon they did take a lot of inspiration from these murder cases.
I think you
for the
have to,
series.
don't you?
However, the murderer had also cut 3-inch gashes into each corner of her mouth, creating a spooky clown-esque smile.
That is terrifying.
So that's the first proof and origin of the Glasgow smile.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know where I got Glasgow smile from, but that's like one of the first cases in 1947.
It must have happened in Glasgow. Must have. Oh no, I think people did it because that wouldn't kill you.
No,
but I reckon
that was the first.
It was like
evidence
a
of it,
football
though.
hooligan thing.
Oh really?
I reckon so.
Oh, rings a bell actually.
Because Celtic and Rangers are in
Yeah.
Glasgow, and there's a lot of hooliganism.
Glasgow smile.
Because I remember,
Oh,
is
I
it
don't
Green
think
Street
about
Green? That's a place near us. Green Street.
Right.
The movie Green Street. Have you ever seen it?
No.
It's like a football hooligan film, and
Right.
there's a scene where he's got like a credit card in his mouth,
Yeah.
and he like.
Oh no.
But yeah, so I reckon that's where it comes from. But if this serial killer is going around like leaving that,
Well, I think
on
this
their
was one of
victims,
the earliest
it's-
cases of it.
right?
Of like the smile. 'Cause
Yeah.
Even on because I double checked it because on Wikipedia it says the Glasgow smile, and the first link see also is the Black
Okay.
Dahlia murder.
Interesting.
Another case I wanted to talk about quickly, and I know these are all quick and rushed and whatever, but there's no point going into all these extra bits of detail. Little tasters, little mini stories. You don't need to know. They're nice little stories.
Nice.
Is a case called the Papin sisters.
The popping.
Not the Papi sisters. The Papin sisters. This one
Like
is
popping.
severely. We're getting worse and worse.
Oh,
Okay.
it's getting worse.
I didn't intentionally do this, but it's
You
getting
didn't
worse
think
and
it could
worse.
get much worse than cut in half and
Oh,
Glasgow
that's
Smiles and
nothing compared to what's
and
happening.
remains flushed down the toilet.
Let's have a look
But
then.
let's.
So the Papin sisters. Let's read this. I want to read this all the way through.
I like how you've been gender inclusive here. I really appreciate it.
What do you mean?
You've got women.
Oh yeah,
You got
yeah,
men?
yeah, sure, for sure. Yeah, it's transgender coming up.
2019.
There's not really. I was about to say something. I'm not.
And you included gays as well.
I did.
The gays.
Yeah.
Is that right?
No.
LGBT.
Right, let's go for this. This is horrible. So let's get in a moment now. Tell you what, play some music. No, I don't have to do that. We find out what.
No, it's happening.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
Don't pay any attention.
Oh,
My
Oh,
heart
that
rate's
is-
already
Right,
intensified.
Let's go. French sisters Leah, and Christine Papin worked as live-in servants for the Lancelin family. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm going to call it Lancelin.
Penicillin.
In France in 1926. Although it was reported that they acted quite odd, never talking to anyone but themselves and showing little interest in anything besides each other, according to historic mysteries. They did their work quickly and lived with the family for almost 7 years. Then, one night in February 1933, Mr. Lancelin, who had been waiting for his wife at a friend's house, came home to find her and their adult daughter dead on the floor in a pool of blood. So this guy comes back to his house to see his wife and his daughter in a pool of blood dead, right? Easy. That's where the story is right now.
Happy Wednesday,
So,
everyone.
Yeah. The eyes had been gouged out and faces smashed in. The Papin sisters were locked in their room as well. So he came in, Papin sisters, he was looking for them and they were locked in the room. So a locksmith was called in to open the door. The police said they found the sisters lying on the bed together with a bloody hammer nearby, according to Vintage News. The Papin sisters immediately confessed to the crimes, and while in prison, Christine became very distressed from being away from her sister and was eventually granted permission to see Leah. Reports said that the sisters seemed to be unnaturally close to each other, with some suggesting a sexual relationship, though doctors who examined the Papin sisters denied evidence of that. A few months later, Christine suffered a mental breakdown and tried to gouge out her own eyes. After the trial, Christine was sentenced to life in prison for being the mastermind behind the murders, while Leah was eventually released from prison in 1943 and managed to get a job at a French hotel under a new identity. It's believed that she died in 1982, but that's never been confirmed. Little story there, little. But just imagine coming back and you're married. It's not nice, is it? Like smashed faces smashed in with no eyes. Sorry to give you this. Yeah.
There's nothing I can say.
No. But
other than that's bad.
There's another.
That's pretty awful. Oh, that's not nice.
Yeah, we'll smash through these because I don't want to take up too much of the podcast. But there's another case of a woman called Catherine Knight. And this was the case of an Australian woman called Catherine Knight who stabbed her partner John Price to death 37 times in 2000.
37, right?
This is really disturbing. Catherine then skinned him, decapitated his head, and cooked up parts of his body. She set her dining room table for two and served the cooked meat with baked potatoes and side vegetables. She placed handwritten notes next to each table setting with the names of Price's 2 children on them. She was attempting to serve them their father for dinner. When police finally arrived at the house, they found Knight in a comatose state with pills spilled out on the floor. They also found Price's head boiling in a pot of soup on the stove. Knight was the first woman to be sentenced to life imprisonment without parole. She's currently serving a sentence in Silverwater Correctional Complex in New South Wales, Australia. This happened in 2000. We could go to South Wales, Australia and see her. She's there. She's living right now. She's in prison in Australia. This woman who tried to serve her husband's kids. Her husband. Imagine skinning a human. It's like...
What the fuck?
There's nothing you can say, is there? Really, there's... Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's horrible.
Served a husband for dinner.
Yeah.
What did they argue about to cause that reaction?
She's... I don't know. You can be
what was her motive?
But I saw pictures
tried to
online.
feed him to his own children.
Imagine.
Their own children.
Imagine. I don't think it was her kids.
Okay.
So I think she married.
Stepchildren.
Yeah.
Right.
Otherwise, it would have said that.
Wow.
Christ. Those are all the serial killers I want to talk about.
Oh.
The next are like just some fan letters. And I'm not going to read the Ted Bundy one because it's boring and we don't want to waste time.
So you want to talk about?
It's just a letter that someone sent to Ted
fans.
Bundy. Yeah.
So like, was it Charles Manson? He had like a bit of a cult following.
A lot of people have cult followings.
And same with Ted Bundy.
Yeah. A lot of people have cult followings. People find to be attracted to serial killers. I don't know what it is. A lot of young girls.
Girls love a bad boy, I hear.
So I'm going to be talking about 3 cases, 3 fan bases. A guy called Joseph Fritzl.
I've heard of him.
A guy called Nicholas Cruz. And a guy called Kenneth Binacci. Okay, so the first case we're going to be talking about is Joseph Fritzl. You said you recognise the name.
I do. Our good friend, who gets a shout out all the time, Jalen, has told me about Mr. Fritzl.
Ooh, yeah.
I think there's a Netflix documentary on him.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me. This guy, sit back with this one.
Sit back, relax, and listen to these disgusting human beings.
Joseph Fritzl kept his own daughter locked in a cellar for 24 years. While she was trapped in his home, he repeatedly abused her and used her as a sex slave, fathering 7 children through rape before she finally managed to escape. He was about as horrible as a human being could be, and yet, when he got caught, hundreds of women sent him love letters. They wrote that they knew he was good at heart, with at least one woman telling Fritzl she was sure that he'd only locked up and sexually abused his daughter to keep her from getting into trouble.
What?
Fritzl's cellmate recalled that he would get dozens of love letters. He said that he remembered being deeply disturbed by a picture Fritzl showed him. It was sent in by a female fan who had posed for Joseph Fritzl next to a masked man, acting out a rape fantasy and sending it to a convicted rapist, Joseph Fritzl. The fans saw him as the chief monster, Fritzl's cellmate said. They respected him. So Joseph Fritzl's getting a lot of love for doing that. I mean, it's uncomprehendable how you do that to someone.
Is Fritzl even an attractive man?
No, he's an ugly old man. It's not their attractiveness. I think it's just the fact that what they do.
It's you know, like Ted Bundy was like a charismatic, attractive man. Same. I think the same with Charles Manson. I don't actually know. So it doesn't make sense. But there's some reason within the madness.
Yeah.
Well, but if he's like an ugly geezer, and a disgusting man, that's done things that you just cannot comprehend, then how's he got a cult following?
I say it's the fetish of liking someone who kills people and does that. It's weird, but is what it is. I don't know if he's still alive, but it's not about Joseph Ritzer. It's about him being an icon to women. So another guy who's getting a lot of love. What you
call an icon living? Just killed a woman. Bitch just did it.
Didn't actually kill her.
True.
I'm not going to go into about what he did to her. But a guy who did a lot of things to a lot of people was Nicholas Cruz, the Parkland High School shooter. There is a Facebook community with 300 members called Nicholas Cruz, the first victim. It's a group of women who are in love with the Parkland High School shooter, where they share ideas on how they can help him and make him photo collages of the mass murderer with hearts around his head. What the fuck? The women there send love letters to Cruz every chance they get. I'm 18 years old. I'm a senior in high school. One woman, who could have been one of Cruz's victims if she'd been one of his classmates, wrote in a letter decorated with hearts and happy faces, "When I saw your picture on the television, something attracted me to you." She'd sent him suggestive pictures for showing off her body. "I'm really skinny," she told Cruz, "and have 34 C-sized breasts." She was hardly the one who did it. I don't know what that means on there. Another woman sent him a whole collection of pictures, with one showing her sucking a popsicle in a bikini and another just showing a close-up shot of her breasts. Wow. I'm in my 40s. I'm in my 40 years as a public defender. I've never seen this many letters to a defendant. That was from Cruz's public defender, Howard Finkelstein. He has said, to Finkelstein's credit, though, he won't let Cruz know. He has staunchly refused to reward Cruz for his crime by letting him see the letters.
Oh, well, at least there's that.
Yeah. He doesn't know.
That's the thing, is there's a big debate about school, because there's so many school shootings in America.
Yeah.
Do you publish their identity at all? Do you put their pictures in the papers because you're giving them this like sort of notoriety that they don't deserve because of what they've done?
Yeah, it's a tricky one.
And you're giving them fame essentially.
But how do you go after them?
Because some people think it actually encourages people to do school shootings because you got these people that are getting bullied or whatever, and they're depressed, and and for some reason they've been driven to commit this awful thing, and they think, if I do this, I'm going to die as somebody rather than a nobody.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, I don't agree with it, but I understand what you're saying.
Don't publish school shooters in the papers.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, if they're on the lookout, the guys on the run, how the hell are they going to find them?
School shooters rarely escape.
Well, yeah, I suppose nowadays they probably won't, because everyone's fucking trained on how to look after their kids, and if that happens. But the last thing I want to talk about is the fans of Kenneth Benacci, also known as the Hillside Strangler. So, just quickly, the Hillside Strangler...
Send on a positive note, eh?
This is I think it's the most fucked up one.
Brilliant.
The Hillside Strangler, later the Hillside Stranglers, is the media epithet for one. So it's basically a guy who terrorized LA between October 1977 and February 1978. There were a couple of these serial killers doing these murders, they found out. So the nicknames originating from the fact that many of the victims' bodies were discovered in the hills surrounding Greater LA.
Okay.
The police, however, knew because of the positions of the bodies that two individuals were killing together, but withheld this information from the press. The two individuals were discovered to be cousins, Kenneth Benacci and Angelo Bueno.
So they were like tag team killers?
Cousins, yeah. Tag team killers.
That is... raucous.
They were later convicted of kidnapping, raping, torturing, and murdering 10 women and girls, ranging in age from 12 to 28 years old. So this is of a possessed fan called Veronica Compton. Okay, so she was so inspired by the rapes and murders of Kenneth Benacci.
Inspired.
Yeah, that she wrote a play about it. It was called. Sorry, go on.
No, go on.
It was called The Mutilated Cutter, and she sent it to the serial killer in hopes of catching his eye.
Oh,
I hope you received my letter and could spare a moment during your busy schedule to look over my play. I really think you'll find the plot quite fascinating. After all, it was you who inspired it. She wrote in a letter attached to her script, I hope to inspire you one day. She was very serious about it, and she's a perfect example of how dangerous these fangirls can really be. In 1980, after winning Bonacci over, so she's won the serial killer over at this point, with some of the suggestive photographs she's been sending, she decided to try to commit a copycat murder to convince the police that the killer was still at large.
Oh my God.
Compton, this weird fan, smuggled Bonacci's semen out of jail in a plastic glove, and she planned on murdering a woman and planting his semen on her body to make it look like the DNA tests had misidentified Bonacci. So basically, making the guy with the semen, they'd have been like, oh, he's still out there, we've got the wrong guy, let's let him go. Because the serial killer is still out there. And then they could live together happily ever after. This is how mad this fangirl is, right?
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
She's
well, it does.
thick.
It does.
No,
it does.
What? So they were like, oh, we've got this man's DNA, but he can't have done it because he was here. So we're not going to do any tests on him to see if it actually is his DNA. I'm just going to let him go because it can't be him.
Well, it was in 1980. I don't know how the laws work, but that was their plan anyway. That's not important. Anyway,
Compton, mate.
Bianchi, though. Compton, though, Victoria, the fangirl, wasn't a very effective killer. Her victim got away.
Yay! Someone got away!
And called the police. And Compton ended up behind bars.
Yes.
However, just like Bonacci, Compton got love letters now.
Oh my God, what's wrong with people?
She's the wannabe hillside strangler, mate. She's a celebrity now. And a man named James Wallace started writing love letters to her while she was in prison. And ended up leaving his wife of 37 years for her.
Left his wife.
Of 37 years for this wannabe serial killer in jail. All for the love of a monster. And that is all I have, ladies and gentlemen.
How bad was his wife?
Yeah, she must have not been giving it to him for a while.
How do you, just to round all this up.
Yeah.
How do you, what's the perfect murder? How do you get away with it?
I mean,
with no trace.
So,
what would you do?
Go and buy Dexter. He seems to be doing pretty well.
Right.
So what you do is you would put this, you would inject the body with this certain chemical. I don't know what it is, but it sends you straight to sleep like a shock. Like that, straight away. Dead. Not dead, but knocked out. You could just do that and then kill them quietly and then get rid of the bodies. But
surely there's some sort of evidence.
Well,
what would the murder weapon be and all that?
No. So listen. So I do that to you. I've got gloves on, no fingerprints. Injected you. Take you into a little room covered in plastic sheeting, right? And a little table, and you're lying naked on the plastic shit on the table, right? Yeah. Wrapped in like shrink wrap, like cling film. It's plastic, so you can't move. And then, because you're wrapped up so tight all the way around the table, you get a big knife, and as he wakes up, you taunt him a little bit, like Dexter does, and stab him in.
This isn't the perfect murder at all.
Well, listen, it fucking is, mate. This guy has been talking as if he's like a real guy. You stab him in the heart or whatever, and as he bleeds, it's all inside the plastic. Okay. Right? And I don't know if, because then what Dexter does is cut up the body into pieces and puts him in bin bags and chucks him in the sea. Right. And you might be thinking, what happens if they all wash up the shore? Season 2, that happens. And he's working in the police. He's working in the police department that are searching for the killer, which is actually Dexter. It's crazy, but
that's pretty.
That is how you do the perfect murder. And all
I disagree. I disagree.
Well, how would you do the perfect murder then, Scott?
Well, for starters, it's clearly not the perfect murder because all the parts washed up to sea. So, well done, mate.
Where are you going to put it then?
Well, this is the thing. What you do, you buy. I've heard this story. Okay, I haven't just come up with this now.
So you've asked me, and now my answer's going to be shit. Just to turn around and give the perfect answer. That's fine.
You might disagree.
No, that's fine.
You go to the shop. No, you don't go to the shop. You do, but you got to plan this months in advance. Okay, and you buy a frozen leg of lamb.
Okay.
All right.
Trying to be all sexy. Like, okay.
And you keep it in there, and say your husband or your wife, whoever you're trying to kill, they have to be living with you, right?
Right.
So how do you kill your spouse, essentially? So you buy this frozen leg of lamb, right? And when you decide it's time and you're ready, you knock them over the head with it. All right, cave in their skull, dead. All right, and then
Right. Okay.
you go to the shops, and you buy frozen leg of lamb.
Again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then but oh no, you don't.
You don't.
You cook the lamb, and then you go to the shops. Then you come home.
What'd you get?
Whilst the lamb's cooking, you go to the shops.
What'd you get from the shops?
Whatever you need.
All right, just
Toilet paper,
cool.
milk, bread,
Yeah.
whatever you need. And then you walk in on your dead spouse. You're like, oh my God. And you call the police. And you're like, please, my wife's on the floor. Please come help. And then the police come. And you're like, oh, I just went to the shops and I walked in and she was like that. And then whilst the police, looking, investigating, you go, officers, would you like some lamb stew? And then they eat the lamb and they've just eaten the murder weapon and there's no evidence, so you. And you'll have an alibi because you just been to the shops.
I mean, sure. Yeah. They can.
It's better than Dexter, that's what I'm saying.
They can literally there and then estimate the time of death.
Yeah, estimate.
So it's
knock them over the
it's
head,
gotta be
straight to the
quick.
shops. Straight to the shops.
But then you could argue if you get back, you go to the shops, by the time it takes to cook that leg of lamb, before that leg of lamb, even after the leg of lamb's been cooked, that estimate could still be in. So basically, the estimate could be so wide that you could have been back home from the shops and then killed her. I don't know. Maybe who knows? It's not going to happen. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. If not a leg of lamb, then an icicle. Stab him and it melts.
Oh yeah, that's actually pretty sick. That is better. That's better. I like that.
Oh, I just wasted your time with the leg of lamb.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's better.
Well,
you can eat the murder weapon. Dude, why don't you just eat the lamb yourself? Hang on. Just eat the lamb yourself afterwards.
No, because what psycho would feed the murder weapon to the policeman?
Yeah, but that's not the perfect murder. This is the perfect psychopath. The perfect murder, you'd get rid of the murder weapon.
No, because the police wouldn't suspect the lamb, would they? If they've been nomming on it.
I mean, the fact
they'd
that
be like, it's inside me.
Dumb mouth.
Let's clip that up. Right, let's move on to some other sociopaths. The Kardashians.
Psychopath.
Right, so the Kardashians, everyone's favorite family. The family everyone loves to hate.
Yeah, a trend.
Very polarizing figures, the Kardashians. I don't know, what your general opinion?
Couldn't give a shit.
Just don't care that they exist.
No.
Right.
Have no impact in my life.
What about you, Laura? Don't care also. Okay. Neither do I really. I don't know why I picked it. I do find them quite interesting in the fact of they're like the first of their kind to be famous just for being famous.
Yes, especially Kim Kardashian.
So just to, give you a little family tree of the Kardashians, okay?
Yeah.
So you had...
Come on, let's stop hitting that now.
Oh, sorry.
Let's stop hitting that now.
I'm still learning, okay?
It's all right. It's okay.
So you had Robert Kardashian.
He's not the big dog.
Kris Jenner.
All right,
Okay.
yeah, the trans.
No.
Well, not trans.
No.
Just fully...
I'll get to that, all right? Robert Kardashian and Kris Jenner.
Women.
They gave birth to...
Man and woman.
Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
Kourtney Kardashian.
Yeah.
Khloe Kardashian.
Yeah.
And Rob Kardashian.
So 3 boys, 1 girl. 3 girls, 1 boy.
Yeah. All the girls beginning with K.
Well done.
And then moving on,
Yeah.
Robert Kardashian and Kris Jenner split up. Kris Jenner gets with Bruce Jenner and has Kendall and Kylie Jenner. with Bruce Jenner.
So they are
So they are half sisters to
Kim,
the rest of them.
Courtney, Chloe.
Yeah. Obviously,
Rob.
she wasn't Kris Jenner when she was with Robert Kardashian, but she's known as Kris Jenner.
Yeah.
So, do you know how the Kardashian name actually rose to fame?
Kim Kardashian did a sex tape.
Well, that's how Kim Kardashian blew up.
Yeah.
But the Kardashians were famous before that.
Really?
Yes. So, the reason Kim was anyone, like, why would, like, Kim's just a random person. Why would
it be?
Why would anyone care about a sex tape?
Bottom of the amateur pile, on Pornhub.
Robert Kardashian, the father, was actually O.J. Simpson's lawyer.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, in
Big
the
dog.
case.
Yeah, The People versus O.J. Simpson on Netflix.
So that's how the Kardashian name became known, right?
Yeah.
And they lived in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So Kim was always surrounded by famous people, really. She grew up with Paris Hilton, was Paris Hilton's best friend.
Oh, right, okay.
And
funny that, because they've both got sex tapes.
Yeah. And
maybe Paris Hilton was like...
I did really good off mine.
So maybe you should get your fanny out.
Yeah, that's exactly how the conversation went, actually.
Fanny means bum in America, so it wouldn't make sense.
Well, she certainly has done that plenty of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I didn't think about that.
So, yeah, she's friends with Paris Hilton. She's kind of known. And then, of course, she has a sex tape with Ray J, who was a fairly well-known R&B singer, I think. And henceforth, Kim Kardashian is a big story, is born. Everyone's interested.
Yeah.
And then following that comes Keeping Up with Kardashians.
Yeah.
And the empire begins, okay? They go on to become the most famous family in all the land. Apart from, would you say the royal family are more famous?
Yes. Everyone in every single country in the world knows who the royal family is.
Okay. Other than the royal family, I'd say the Kardashians are next.
I mean, yeah, as a family, yeah, you're right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Jackson 5 maybe, the Jacksons. Yeah, I'd say the Jacksons. Currently, yeah, but in history, royal family, the Jackson 5, you could say, are
the
family.
Then the Kardashians.
Yeah, there's no other big family. But then again, they're not famous for being a family, they're famous for being a load of singers. So technically, they're the second most famous family for being a family.
Yeah. And yeah, so Keeping Up with the Kardashians, one of the most successful reality shows of all time.
Yeah.
Now Kim is with Kanye West, and that really elevated her to another level, really. They sort of become this power couple. And they're just very famous and have made a lot of money from just being them.
Just being themselves, yeah.
And
it's the best way to make money.
The reason I find them quite fascinating as a family is because they are famous for being them.
Yeah.
And they've made a business out of being a Kardashian.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get your thoughts on whether you think is this everything wrong with this current generation? Do you respect the Kardashians for everything they've achieved, or do you think it's a terrible thing? What do you think?
All right, so I respect everything they've done, every single action they've done, because
every action.
Well, most of the actions.
You respect? Do you respect Kim becoming famous off sex tape?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's her way to get famous, and fair play, she's not doing anything illegal.
Yeah.
Fine. If you were trying to get famous and that was the only way you were going to get famous, like, it shows a problem in society how a girl has to be famous because of a sex tape. But fair play to her, she did it and she got herself out there.
Yeah.
Like, she's not. Most people get embarrassed from showing off their body, and she's managed to make hundreds of millions of dollars off of it. So you can't be annoyed at that. I don't agree with it. I don't think it's the great way to get famous. But by the looks of things, it's the only way she was gonna get famous, and she did it. So. I'm not going to applaud or take my hat off to it, but you can't exactly go against that. Like, oh, you're a slut, because motherfucker's making hundreds of millions of dollars. So
yeah,
wouldn't you?
I agree for the most part with that, because I think so she always wanted to be famous from a very young age.
Just really quickly, do you remember the podcast where I showed off my brand new shoes?
Yeah.
These are them now.
Wow. You were so excited about those shoes that you decided to show them in a podcast, and that's how you tracked
my new shoes. Anyway, those are the OG fans. Scott, keep going.
Where was I? Oh yeah, so she always wanted to be famous from a very young age.
Yeah.
And she had a dream and she's achieved it by any means necessary. So she kind of, I feel like she's sold her soul to the devil a little bit.
Well, yeah, that's what you do if you get famous or something like that.
Do you need to do that to be famous?
Well, maybe not. Who knows? But
I think you do when you don't really have a talent.
Yeah, exactly.
But is she talented?
I don't think so.
No.
Businesswoman, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But before this sex tape, was she successfully gonna get?
So I think she was a model, maybe.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you're talented. No offense to any models out there, but you're not talented for looking a certain way. You're talented for maybe doing a certain shoot, fitting into certain things.
I think the duration, talent.
Yeah, exactly. But as a model, you have an agency. So herself as a person, I don't think she couldn't have been. If you're going to make a sex tape to be famous, you're not very talented. Sorry.
Yeah, I think.
But back to your question, I do respect the Kardashians as a whole, because as a business and as a brand, which is what they're branding themselves as, the Kardashians, they have done bits. They amazing money. They've got themselves that whole family for generations, hundreds and hundreds of years to come in the whole world. That family tree, however much it goes off, there will always be money in it, and they are going to be able to look after in the best way possible all their family to come. Yeah. They've achieved all they wanted to do. They've done pretty good things for TV. Think about the TV show, how many jobs they've created. You've got to think of little things like that, and not a lot of negative stuff, apart from the fact that they are brainwashing half of the population of our generation is bad. But for themselves, I have to respect the fact they are profiting off something that is going on in day-to-day lives about social media and Instagram and stuff, and you can't really go against that when they're making that much money. However, I don't think they're taking into consideration how much they're doing, but why would you?
Well, this is what I was going to come on to.
Yeah, I gathered, yeah.
So, do you think they've had... Oh, just hit the mic again. Do you think they've had a negative impact, and... Do you think they've had a negative impact with how they've set like unrealistic body standards and goals because they've pumped plastic into their bodies?
Yeah, that's the main thing. I don't know what podcast it was. I think it might have been
Joe Rogan, maybe?
Tiny Meat Gang podcast, when they're talking about how back in the day you would look at a picture and it's that's Photoshop, and obviously you still do that now, it's Photoshop, but now it's like real life Photoshop. So you're out and about and you're seeing people like, especially in places like London and like all these main cities where there are models walking around, and like that's where the hub is for models, and you see all the, not even models, just wannabe rich people, wannabe Kardashians who are rich people, not that I've seen, but people are going to be seeing these ridiculous plastic surgery things, and it's like a walking version of Photoshop, right? So to rich kids, little rich young kids who with daddy's wallet, and they'll do whatever they want, little fucking, Kardashian, they're going to get plastic surgery when they're older, and they're going to get big bums, because back in the day, like, it's so bad because it's not like social media where it's all right for now, and then when you grow up, you'll grow out of it. But if you change your body, back in the day, a big ass wasn't the thing. And now it is, right? You can get your ass bigger, but you can't get it smaller. So these people are now getting injections in their ass. What happens when a whole new fashion comes around and they have to look a different way? That's when it's going to be bad. I think for now, let kids watch Keeping Up the Kardashians. Let them go on social media. But like, as long as you can control it, and as long as it can be stopped at a certain point. But with plastic surgery and pumping stuff into your body like plastic and silicone and shit, I think that's way too far to do to yourself.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, so people will blame the Kardashians for this.
Yeah.
But they've never said, go out and look like me. Yeah. They've never said...
But the thing is, being at that position on Instagram, being that much of a inspiration and a role model, you have to accept that some responsibility is going to be on your shoulders.
Yeah, exactly. And there's one, Kim Kardashian did a brand deal once, right?
Right.
She advertised a lollipop.
Okay.
And this lollipop, like, when you eat it, lessens your appetite.
Oh, really?
So you don't want to eat, and obviously you get skinnier.
Yeah, skinny, yeah.
So I think that's a bit fucked up.
That is I didn't know that.
So that is a case where she sort of has encouraged.
But the only thing is, right, with somebody who's as big as Kim Kardashian and all the Kardashians, like Khloe Kardashian and what's that, Kylie Jenner.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, with brand deals and stuff, especially, they don't go through that. They don't vet their companies. They have such a massive team around them. Okay.
Yeah, but I still think they're
Kylie Jenner. How old is she?
Like our age, maybe younger.
So you're not gonna think about the next generation to come and all the stuff that goes into it.
I still think
like
you're responsible for what you promote, though.
Yeah, for sure. But at the same time,
just because your company's or your management's got you a good deal, you don't just blindly like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's fucked up. But at the same time, it's not going to have an impact on her career.
Oh no, obviously not.
And I think that's obviously a bad thing. The fact that they're taking that sort of advantage of girls trying to get skinnier, maybe boys as well, but it's mainly girls trying to get skinnier. It's not on, but I don't think all the blame is on the talent.
No, well, in terms of what?
Well, it's like Logan Paul.
Yeah,
he was fucked up, but half the conversation was the editor, the people around him.
Oh right, they've just thrown about yes men.
There's so much more blame to be passed around. But yeah, you're right. I mean, they're the main people.
I think ultimately they're the ones responsible.
Yeah. Well, I'm not disagreeing, but like, I don't know.
And you mentioned Kylie Jenner.
Yeah,
she's rose to being one of the more famous of the family, I'd say.
Yeah.
And she either is or soon to be a billionaire.
Yeah, well, I think she is.
She is.
First,
youngest ever billionaire. The youngest self-made billionaire.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to ask...
youngest self-made woman, it's like a woman or something. I don't know.
Well, I wanted to ask, is she self-made?
Well, no, but the thing is, she can be labelled as
she made all the businesses that she started, and
that's fine, but she can make any business and it'd be big.
Right,
that's not self-made. Self-made is when
I'm trying to play devil's advocate, but I just can't.
Self-made is when you obviously build a brand from nothing yourself and build your audience yourself and get it out there. So she could create a dog shit prop and still get millions and billions. But the thing is, the reason people say she's self-made is because it makes great propaganda and self-made women this, women
great
that.
Headline, isn't it?
Exactly, especially for a girl to be a self-made billionaire. It's like first woman self-made billionaire ever, and the whole trend with women. I won't get into it because I'm clearly sexist in some way. I just don't like the fact that women are shoved down our throats as being the best thing to walk the earth. I think we should be equal, but the fact she's a girl is great for brands and like magazine companies and journalists and stuff, because they can be like, oh, look girl power.
Girl power. That's white supremacy.
And self-made. Whoa. Self-made is...
the Makeshift Pod does not support white supremacy. We are on episode K though, so... KKK? That's a joke. So give me an example of someone who is self-made.
Steve Jobs. Well, was self-made.
Yeah.
Bill Gates.
Well, I don't know his story completely.
Well, he's just made a company in his garage, literally his garage.
Not bad that.
Like he made computers.
Company worth $1 trillion.
First ever $1 trillion company.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah,
that's
pretty good.
I mean, the thing is though, when I used to work in recruitment, you had to have this mentality of, I'm going to be a self-made millionaire. What's going on? Oh, let's find self-made millionaire. So I got given a book about all the self-made millionaires, and it was literally called Self-Made Millionaires, and there was all these stories of.
Give me some names. They're big names.
I don't know. This is my point.
Is it like those millionaires no one knows about?
Well, there's
a lot, obviously.
What millionaires do you know? What self-made millionaires do you know? Apart from all the big brands. Yeah, okay, whatever. But there's so many. I think the majority of millionaires you have no idea about. It's like on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
How many people have million subscribers that you just never heard of? It's the problem is you've got to be a self-made billionaire to be noticed really nowadays, or at least like hundreds of millions, because anyone can make $1 million given the tools nowadays if you have the correct mindset and the lucky stars are in. Look, there are 7 billion people in the world. All right, a lot of people are going to make $1 million off their own back.
1%.
A lot of companies, a lot of people who just make their own companies and just work like 5 days a week full time. Like they've got £1 million turnover. You know, and they're self-employed, so they're millionaires. They're self-millionaires. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't think obviously Kylie Jenner is, but her lipstick went off.
Didn't it?
That was a madness. Do you
Twitter
remember?
timeline was just full of lip kits.
God, people selling it and shit. Like, they're buying it and like
Man.
like selling it off for like triple the price. Man, it was crazy.
Yeah, but that's where it's like she's managed to build this brand.
Yeah,
and I think you have to respect it.
Yeah, like I say, I respect the whole family. Like you've done well.
However, she did lose her Instagram record to an egg, so
yeah,
she lost a bit of a.
Yeah, but I'm glad.
Kudos.
Like, she's. I respect the family, but I don't respect. Like, well, I can't say I don't respect, but like, it's just funny, innit? Because all those likes and stuff, like, what does it mean?
Yeah.
But it's so important to everyone. And then for this egg to get like, was it double, triple?
A lot more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like it's just funny. Like, it's cool.
Whoever invented that egg is a genius. Seen they like sold merch off of it.
Really?
And they made like loads of money.
Self-made millionaire.
Probably
is. Yeah, but yeah, I don't like the whole Instagram thing. There's a video coming on Sunday about social media and me leaving social media. Be sure to watch it. But as you saw in that video, towards the start anyway, because we've not finished it, it was very positive, and it's been nice not having influencers being shoved down my throat and my eyes. Achoo!
Sorry, that was Dan sneezing.
What else have you got to talk about? Carry on, basically.
I think that's it. I didn't plan a whole lot, I'll be honest.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, I mean...
But we've been going for more than an hour, I think.
Yeah. No, the Kardashians...
Did you have anything?
I mean, not really. I mean, the Kardashians are something that I am interested in seeing how it unfolds. Like,
we didn't talk about Caitlyn Jenner.
Oh, yeah, the mum of Kim Kardashian, the dad of Kim Kardashian.
Stepdad.
Hey, why are you looking at me like that? Like I'm supposed to know this family tree.
Bruce Jenner.
Well, yeah, I know he's changed sex, but like who's
Jenner?
Bruce Jenner
became Caitlyn Jenner. Bruce Jenner is Kylie Kendall's dad.
Right, sorry, yeah. Sorry, I got the dad wrong, but he changed it to a woman. Kim Kardashian, but it's Kim Kardashian's stepdad, so I got the step bit wrong. All right, cool. I'm proud of myself for getting that far. Turn into a woman.
That was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a bit nuts. That was the most glorified sex change ever. Sorry? Was he?
Yeah, he won gold medals at the Olympics and shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, who was it recently? There was a sex change, and they
happen every week now.
No,
mate.
but I think it was like a big story. They turned to a woman, and they did like running or something like some strength conditioning in the Olympics. But as a man, as a woman, but was previously a man,
right.
So had all this natural male strength, and they couldn't disqualify because his gender was female. It's crazy. And everyone was complaining and shit, and it was like double standards.
There's just such a blurred line with it all, isn't it? But that's a different topic.
That could. We should announce the guest for next week.
Yeah, do that.
In case anyone is interested. So next week, it's been in the works for a long time. He's been talked about on the podcast.
Speaking of self-made millionaire.
This could go on the Instagram.
Yeah,
this clip, right? So let's just like talk normally now. But next week's guest has been in the works for a while. We've talked about him on the podcast before. The camera's just turned off. No, but next week's guest, obviously next week has to be something beginning with E.
Okay.
Right?
Let me think quick. Electricity.
No.
Oh.
This is a lot more.
Engines?
No.
Damn.
It's going to be the name of somebody that we have been speaking about for a long time on the podcast. Well, he's been mentioned a few times. It's been in the works for a while. We've had conversations. They've not led anywhere. And finally, the date has been set.
It's happening.
The next episode is going to be It's going to be featuring a friend of mine and Laura's called Amantis, and he is he's a proud owner of an Instagram account known as Memes Are Me.
The meme king, some could say.
Let's just say he's close to 1 million followers.
You done?
So yeah, that should be good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Looking forward to you interviewing the meme king.
Yeah, he is the meme king. We were going to do it for Kay, because like king of memes.
Yeah,
I was going to get him a crown and crown him, but it's cool. I don't need to do that.
The coronation.
I do want to get a canvas before he comes though, and if possible.
Oh really?
Just because it looks so shit. And also personalised windshields.
You want to get that in a week?
Well, they don't take long.
Are you sure?
Well, maybe
printing and delivery.
Look, mate. Ever gone
we'll
to
find out. We'll find out next week.
Vista crazy, but no, just the Makeshift Pod logo here.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Like facing the camera, so when there's like 3 cameras,
in
nice.
Case I forget.
But yeah, I guess we should wrap it up.
So killing the Kardashians.
Food's here.
Food's here.
Go on, girl.
Right.
Go and get the food, girl.
Perfect time. Perfect time to wrap up the podcast.
Yep.
Thank you for watching this week. It was pretty dark, but we lightened it up talking about the most polarizing family in the land.
In the world.
The Kardashians.
Yeah.
You can follow us on Twitter.
Can't follow me on Twitter.
Hey.
I might have it back by now.
Oh, maybe. Well, we don't know. We don't know. Find out.
Maybe.
What was that? Yeah, follow us on Twitter, as in the channel, at Visuals Vertical. And you can follow us on Instagram, Vertical Visuals, 2 L's in the vertical. Anything else to add? No. Our personal links to our social medias will be in the description. Next week is going to be, like we said, Amantis, the meme king, Won't want to miss it.
Whatever topic Scott's going to be talking about. Not too sure yet. But if you did like the video, please subscribe, like the video, share it, and yeah, be sure to tune in next week.
Let us know what you thought.
Yeah, if you want to comment, do it. Share the video, please. It'd be nice to have some more subscribers. We're halfway to our year target of 100 subscribers, which is good.
Thank you for that, by the way.
For a channel that doesn't promote ourselves like shamelessly. That 50 subscribers, they're not just like friends and family. A lot
we should do a 50 subscriber special.
Maybe we should. Maybe we should.
50 sub Q&A.
Find out.
We have to make up the questions.
Yeah, we have to. Yeah.
It's just Laura asking us questions.
Yeah, but thank you for watching.
Yes,
this has been a good one.
I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been a long one. So enjoy that one, and we will see you next time.